To honor one more. So tonight's award, this award right now, goes to the most improved, and this award goes to the Apostle Paul. Let's give him a hand. All right, thank you for that applause. So to honor Paul, a lot of you may wonder, why? Who am I? Why are you able to talk about him? Paul is a Bible character. He's been dead for many years. What makes you qualified? Obviously, you didn't know him, and that's true. I did not know Paul, but if you look at his life, it's very well chronicled in this book right here, the Bible. Paul spent so much time writing about his life, and just writing, for the Christians so that they can get to know God more and also hear Paul's story. So let's begin. So back in the day, Paul's actually first name was Saul, and he was actually a person that persecuted Christians. He was actually killing as many Christians as he could, and then on the road to Damascus, which I'll talk about that later, but he met Jesus, completely changed his life around, and started being one of the best apostles to ever live. So to begin, so as I said, his initial name was Saul, and Saul persecuted Christians. He believed that he was the Jew of all the Jews, so he thought he was better than everybody else. He thought that his works was going to be good enough to get him into heaven, which unfortunately that was not the case, as Jesus came and told him and the other Pharisees that the laws that they follow and the laws that they're making are not going to make them righteous enough to get to heaven. And for a man with the ego and a pride that's been saying, I've been so good my whole life, following these laws that I've made and that Moses made, and now you're going to tell me it's not good enough, who are you? So obviously that did not go over very well in Paul's head, and that's what started Paul persecuting the Christians. So Paul would kill so many Christians, and so Paul had a very rocky start to his life, or Saul had a very rocky start to his life, and had a lot of improving to do. So moving on the road to Damascus, this was right after Jesus was crucified, resurrected. Saul was on the road to Damascus, and Jesus approached him, and and Jesus asked Saul, "Saul, why do you persecute me?" And immediately Saul went blind, and he could not see, and all he could hear was a vision from Jesus. And Jesus sent him to a town, and he was blind for 3 days, and in those 3 days he had no food and he had no water. And so he went to the town, and having no food and water just makes him desperate. And God uses desperation a lot of times, and that's why fasting is so popular in the Christian religion, because it helps you get closer to God. And so Jesus sent him to a town, and he sent a man to come to Saul while he was praying, and that man put his hand on Saul, prayed for him, and immediately Saul could see again. And when Saul could see, he decided to change his name to Paul, and he decided to really change his life, make a 360-degree turn, and live his life for Jesus. He then became one of the best apostles to ever live, spreading Christianity all across the nation, going city to city, just proclaiming the word of God and telling the story and the gospel. So this was amazing and everything, and that is such a big change. But because of how strong his opinions were earlier in his life about hating Jesus and the people that followed him, he was then persecuted and was taken to jail. He spent so much time in jail, and a lot of people, when they get thrown in jail, they'd be like, "Yeah, God, I did what you asked me to do, but I'm in jail. What am I supposed to do now?" But not Paul. This is why Paul improved so much. Paul decided that even though I'm in jail, I can still make an impact on the world. And instead of reaching hundreds a day, he started writing, and he wrote 13 of the books in the New Testament, which is such a big chunk of the New Testament, and that reached billions of people and made Christianity one of the most popular religions in the world. So Paul went from being Saul, who persecuted Christians and believed in his own works, to then being a Christian, to then spreading the word of Christian, being a Christian leader, to then being imprisoned for his beliefs and staying strong in his faith, and finding a way to impact even more people's lives. The most improved award goes to the Apostle Paul. This award is a very important award, and it goes to the one who may not have had the best start, but has really just had the most personal growth and the biggest change in his life in a positive way. And that award goes to the Apostle Paul. Congratulations, Paul.